It was a quiet Tuesday in late autumn when Elena decided to leave. The leaves outside their apartment window had turned a muted gold, drifting lazily to the sidewalk below. She packed her things methodically, folding shirts into a suitcase that had seen better days. There was no yelling, no shattered glass, just the soft click of the latch as she closed the door behind her. Mark was at work, oblivious, or perhaps pretending to be. She left a note on the kitchen table. "I need space to breathe. Take care." Their relationship had started like so many others, with a spark of possibility. Elena met Mark at a coffee shop downtown, where he was sketching architectural designs on a napkin. He had a disarming smile, the kind that promised adventure without the chaos. She was a teacher, grounded in routines and lesson plans, and he was an engineer, always building something new. They balanced each other, or so she thought. But over the years the balance tipped. Mark's job consumed him. Late nights at the office became the norm, weekends lost to blueprints and client calls. Elena would wait up, dinner cooling on the stove, until she stopped waiting altogether. Conversations dwindled to logistics. Bills, groceries, the occasional "How was your day?" met with a distracted nod. He wasn't cruel, never raised his voice or strayed. It was neglect, the slow erosion of connection, like water wearing down stone. She tried to talk about it. "Mark, I feel like I'm disappearing here," she'd say over breakfast, her voice steady but edged with plea. He'd look up from his phone, apologize, promise to do better. For a day or two he would, flowers on the counter, a movie night squeezed in. Then the cycle repeated. Elena read books on relationships, suggested therapy. Mark agreed in theory but never followed through. "Work is crazy right now," he'd say. "Once this project wraps up." The walking away wasn't impulsive. It came after months of quiet reflection, journaling in the early mornings while he slept. Elena realized she wasn't angry, she was tired. Tired of being the one who held the threads together, of loving someone who loved his ambitions more. So she found a small rental across town, a place with a balcony overlooking a park. She told her friends, who nodded sympathetically, and her family, who worried but supported her. Mark came home that evening to an empty apartment. The note sat there unassuming. He read it twice, then sank into the couch, staring at the wall where her paintings used to hang. She had taken them, leaving faint outlines like ghosts. For the first time in years, the silence felt oppressive, not productive. The days that followed were a blur for him. He called her, left voicemails that started with confusion and edged into desperation. "Elena, what happened? Let's talk." She didn't answer at first, needing the distance to solidify. When she did respond, it was a text. "I need time. Please respect that." Alone, Mark confronted the void. The apartment echoed with his footsteps. Meals were solitary affairs, microwaved and eaten standing up. He noticed things he'd ignored. The way the light filtered through the curtains she had chosen, the stack of her favorite books still on the shelf. One night, unable to sleep, he opened one, a novel about lost love, and read until dawn. Change didn't come overnight. It started small, with a therapist's number scrawled on a post-it. Mark made the call, surprising himself. Sessions were uncomfortable at first, peeling back layers of excuses. "I thought providing was enough," he admitted. "But I wasn't there." The therapist nodded, guiding him to journals of his own, exercises in mindfulness. He began restructuring his life. Boundaries at work. No emails after 7 p.m., weekends off. He joined a gym, not for vanity but for the routine, the endorphins that cleared his mind. Cooking classes filled his evenings. He learned to make pasta from scratch, imagining sharing it someday. Friends noticed the shift. Mark, once distant, now initiating plans, listening more than speaking. Months passed. Elena settled into her new life. Her apartment became a sanctuary. Plants on the windowsill, bookshelves brimming. She dated casually but mostly focused on herself. Yoga classes, weekends hiking with friends. The ache of leaving Mark faded to a dull throb, replaced by a quiet contentment. They ran into each other at a mutual friend's birthday party, 6 months after the split. The venue was a cozy bar with string lights and laughter spilling out. Elena arrived with a new haircut, shorter and bolder. Mark was there nursing a beer, looking different, leaner, more present. Their eyes met across the room, and he approached with a tentative smile. "Elena," he said softly, "you look well." She nodded, her heart steady. "So do you." They talked in a corner booth, away from the crowd. No accusations, just updates. She spoke of her students, a promotion at school. He mentioned therapy, the changes at work. "I've been working on myself," he said, his voice calm, without the old defensiveness. "I realize now how much I took you for granted." Elena listened, a mix of surprise and sadness. He had changed, visibly, palpably. The man before her was attentive, reflective, the version she had hoped for years ago. But it was too late. The space she had carved out was hers now, filled with independence she hadn't known she craved. "I'm glad for you, Mark," she said genuinely. "Really? You deserve that." They parted amicably, a hug that lingered just a moment. Driving home, Elena felt a pang, not of regret, but of what-ifs. What if he had changed sooner? But she pushed it aside, focusing on the road ahead. Mark continued his path. He dated eventually, approaching relationships with intention. He volunteered at a community center, building playgrounds, using his skills for joy, not just deadlines. Friends set him up, and he met someone new, a woman who appreciated his growth. But Elena remained a benchmark, a lesson etched deep. Years later, on another autumn day, Elena sat on her balcony, sipping tea. She was married now, to a kind man who shared her love of quiet evenings. Mark had faded to a fond memory, occasional updates through mutual friends. She heard he was happy, settled with a family. Reflecting on it all, Elena realized the truth in departures. Walking away wasn't about punishment. It was about self-preservation. Mark's change was a testament to potential, but timing mattered. People grew at their own pace, sometimes spurred by loss. She wondered if he thought of her still, but it didn't ache. Instead, she felt gratitude for the love they shared, the pain that taught her strength, and the life she built beyond it. In the end, stories like theirs weren't tragedies. They were evolutions, quiet shifts in the narrative of life. Elena watched the leaves fall, much like before, and smiled at the cycle of it all.